Hello, and welcome to the English Podcast Studio, the podcast for learners who want to speak English with more confidence and joy. I'm Lee, and I'm here to help you speak English more naturally, step by step, day by day. A lot of learners tell me they want to speak English fast. They see native speakers and think, wow, they speak so quickly. How can I do that? But here's a secret. Most of the time, they aren't actually speaking fast. It just sounds that way. What they're really doing is something much, much more subtle. They're connecting all the words together, making them flow seamlessly. Think of it like this. Instead of speaking one word at a time, with a little space in between each one, they link everything together, almost like the entire sentence is just one long word. They might drop a few sounds or add some new ones in the middle. And that's what creates that natural, quick-sounding rhythm. It can be hard for us to understand them sometimes simply because we expect to hear each word clearly. But they aren't speaking fast. They're just connecting things. Today, I'm going to teach you this special technique. We'll look at how native speakers do it so you can start doing it too. This will help you sound more natural, and just as importantly, it will help you understand the core mechanics of spoken English. Once you understand the why behind the rhythm, you'll be able to understand native speakers much, much better. Let's start with a very common question, a question you might hear all the time. On paper, it looks like this. What do you do? But a native speaker, an American speaker especially, would almost never say it that way. You wouldn't hear, what do you do? They would say something like, what do you do? The speed and pace aren't really faster. They've just connected everything. And if you don't know this trick, you might hear it and think, wait, what was that? Here's another one. The sentence is, I am going to do some shopping. In everyday conversation, an American speaker would say, I'm going to do some shopping. Again, it's not I am going to, it's I'm gonna. We've connected those words. And sometimes you might even hear a super contracted version, like, I'm going to do some shopping. So, what's happening here? Well, native speakers often take those smaller, less important words and pronounce them in a way that's easier and faster for everyday conversation. For example, the word the. We don't always say it with a long, clear th sound. We might say duh. For instance, we don't say, what's the weather today? We say, what's the weather today? It's much more natural and easier to say. Another thing you might notice is what happens when two words come together. Let's go back to our first example. What do you do? The word what ends with a t sound, and the word do starts with a d sound. When they come together, we often create a new sound in the middle, a ch or ch sound. So we don't say, what do you do? We say, whatcha do for a living. It's a way to make the speech much smoother, and it's something all native speakers do. Tips or examples. I want to make this even clearer for you, so I'm going to read a sentence out loud. First, the way a learner might read it, and then the way a native speaker would say it. The sentence is, I am going to go out to Walmart. Do you need anything? Here's the learner version. I am going to, go out to, Walmart. Do you need anything? And here's the native speaker version. I'm gonna go out to Walmart to need anything. You can hear the difference, right? I replaced I am going to with I'm gonna, and I connected Walmart and do you into a single phrase. That T at the end of Walmart and the duh at the start of do you, they combine to create that new smooth sound. Here's another tricky one you might hear. The word something. Sometimes native speakers will say something. The second th sound gets dropped and it just becomes thin. For example, can you give me something? It's perfectly correct, so don't be confused. It's just how the language evolves as people speak it. And what about the phrase let me? You'll often hear this shortened to lem me. The T from let gets completely dropped. Let me give you something becomes let me give you something. And now for one more big tip. When the letter T is in the middle of a word, especially in American English, it sometimes changes to a D sound. For example, the word letter. A British person might say letter, but in American we'll often say letter. It's a way to make the word sound faster and more fluid. Let me give you a few more examples of this. City becomes city. Bottle becomes bottle. Butter becomes butter. Computer becomes computer. Daughter becomes daughter. 80 becomes 80. 40 becomes 40. Little becomes little. As you can hear, the T sound often converts to a D. For me, it even feels unnatural to say little with a hard T sound because I'm so used to saying little. This will become automatic for you too with practice. Motivation. Remember, learning these connection techniques is not just about speaking fast. First, it's about speaking more naturally. Second, it's about making your speech sound smoother. And third, and most importantly, it's about understanding native speakers more easily. When you know how the mechanics work, you'll be able to listen and understand with confidence. So, your homework for today is to practice. Think of other words where the T in the middle can be pronounced like a D. You can Google them, but the real practice is in writing them down and saying them out loud. This simple action will help you internalize the new sound. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was useful for you. If you found it helpful, please remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Closing. See you next time in the English Podcast Studio.